And then I found out from a text message screenshot from my cousin on my dad's side to show me that my dad faked cancer to get money from my grandma. So, like, okay, take the psycho side, put it here. I have to go back to my doctor and be like, hey, can we cross the dad cancer out real quick? Apparently, that was just a ploy to get money from my grandmother, and then now he's going to write underneath it, psychopath. That's insane.
Hello and welcome back to Misery Loves Mandy, where comedians talk about miserable moments and whether or not they made them into jokes. This week's guest is Matty Chymbor, the one and only. We're matching because we're cute. Ew, don't say that. We didn't mean to match. We talked about his dad faking cancer. That's normal. When you're sat at the wrong side of the table and how hard it is to find a therapist. Make sure to like and subscribe and check out the Patreon. Enjoy. Hey, did you notice that we're matching?
I did, yeah.
Did you do that on purpose?
No, it was our instincts. Sorry, I have potato chip on my shirt.
Oh. I once made a video of a reel when I made reels back in the day of how potato chips just fall into your bra, and by the end of a bag, you just have all the crumbs.
You told me that.
You helped me film that.
Yeah, I was saying, I know.
I was telling them.
Oh. Well, find it. Find it, everybody.
Scroll all the way. How many people do you think when they go to lurk you, if you're not dating somebody, do people like scroll all the way to the beginning of your Instagram? I
mean, probably a lot. It seems like I feel like people when they go on someone's page when they first meet them, you kind of you go in a little bit, then you come back, and then you think about it, and then you're like, I'm gonna go further. Like when you go into a cave, you don't go all the way to the back. So you got to like kind of go in and then come back, get familiar.
Yeah.
I mean, going on someone's page, I mean, that's even on my own page. I don't like going that deep. It's like weird. You feel like you're in like I want to do something wrong.
Yeah. Imagine what it's going to be like for people who grew up with social media. Like they're going to go back all the way to like their acne days, which is my day to day. But
I mean, it's like a flip book, they say. I always say if you scroll down someone's page fast enough, it's like a flip book of them like getting younger.
That's how I know if I'm too old for a chick. Because if I can see her like high school days in her Instagram, I'm like, oh, I'm too old for you. You shouldn't have been able to do that at the right time.
That's a good one. That's a good way to see it.
Not the weirdest thing I've seen is like when you meet someone's new significant other and you're like, hey, I mean, not to be a creep, but you go and look at their page and you scroll like a few down and there's like 3 or 2.5 thumb scrolls and you already see their ex-boyfriend still in there.
Oh, yeah.
Or ex-girlfriend or what, like an ex of that matter. You're like, what are you doing?
That is really weird.
That's like, I mean, I'm not saying erase your life or memories, but when you see the ex around, I mean, one of my friends, they got married, and if you scroll, it's like pictures of her and her old boyfriend. I'm like, get rid of those.
Really?
It's so weird.
That's not. All right, what do you think is a good time to archive? I think it's like right after the breakup, archive away.
This girl's talking archive. I'm deleting. What the hell are you talking about?
He grabs my phone and looks through my archives.
Jesus Christ. Your archive's just your old like memory album. I'm fucking wiping them out and you're just putting them in a drawer. That's cute. Good to know. I'm erasing parts of my life for you, bitch.
I'm forgetting Sarah Marshall. No!
Yeah, exactly. Don't delete it. Yeah, that's funny. It's crazy to think, I mean, let's make this somewhat topical, but like, you know, you're saying it's going to be weird for, you know, kids to go back and look at their parents' like social media pages. But I'm like, look at like fucking TikTok and all these. I'm like, what if they deleted them? Like, I'll have 0 photos of me at all. I mean, there's some on Facebook, but like if Instagram ever went away, I know it won't, but like God forbid, I don't think I'd have any memories left. I would be erased like as a human being. TikTok's fine. I mean, no one needs to see like that, but like with Instagram having a photo pass, there's more memories than you realize.
Yeah, it would be sad if Instagram got deleted, because you kind of get to go see like your different phases.
I don't know why, but I think if Instagram got deleted, I'd just love to know that Mark Zuckerberg just got like punched in the face. He just seems like a guy. I just want something bad to happen to him.
Oh.
In a very healable way.
But have you seen like
in a way that could be healed over
repeatedly.
Yeah, over a course. like a bruise. I want him to be bruised. Oh. Anyways,
did you see that Instagram just brought back the like? You can see what people are liking.
Yeah, it's not as like it's not as malicious as it used to be though, where there was a page and it would say, wait, or was it? I remember like
there used to be a whole page that showed like straight up who
so and so liked what, and it was you can kind of scroll through it. This one I think they're more because they'll lump a few people together, but I think this one still can throw like friends or whoever under the bus. Which I mean, we've even talked about this. Social media is so fucking weird. Where like. I have friends who are married, and then you'll scroll, and we have like, we both follow this girl that we were friends with, whatever, and and then I see the married guys liking her photos,
like bikini photos,
like scandalous photos, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, I almost want to call them and be like, hey, bro, like, are you this dumb? It's insane.
And then I'm like, okay, if some married guy is doing this in the public, what are you doing behind closed doors? That's where my mind goes.
I mean, if you're willing to, I mean, maybe that's just how boring their life is, where it's just like they need a thrill of having something out there where they're just like, oh my God. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't even fathom what their argument would be for getting called out by whoever.
I don't know. I don't know what they'd say.
I mean,
the new like button is interesting though, because I still don't quite understand it. So like I was looking at a video, it was so random, of like a haircut video of someone in Sweden, who knows, like
those Swedish haircuts.
A video that no one is watching.
That's a perfect snapshot of what happens on social media. So I was watching someone in Sweden get their haircut. It was 3 a.m. and I was watching a Swedish boy get his haircut, and then he started dancing, and you're like, what are you saying right now?
So I'm watching a video that I know no one is watching.
Right.
And then the top right shows like the hearts. And I'm like, oh my God, all of these people like this Swedish boy's haircut video?
No.
I know that.
Okay.
And then I clicked it, and it just hearts on the right. So you're watching your video, you click the hearts, and then it just shows you what they liked.
They basically made a new feed that like is more. I love the reasoning. They're like, oh, in case you want to see what your friends like, you're like, why? I thought this algorithm was for me. Now you're like, how about this? Fix your fucking algorithm. I mean, all the reasoning makes no goddamn sense. So again, they already have the explore page, then they have your page, now they have one of a friend's page. You're like, when is this gonna stop? But think about this as a business. This is where we think they're being all wholesome. You're like, they're doing anything in their power to have a new channel on that, whether the explore page is considered a channel, your page is considered your For You or whatever the F you want to call it. They just want you to constantly just be going back and forth and just racking up ad money. They want you to literally die on their apps. They want you to rot. Your corneas and your retinas just burn. And they're gonna somehow, I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's Instagram's new plan.
Sorry, this just gets me worked up. I know what they're doing. We know what they're doing. They're trying to just keep us on. That's why I like TikTok, because it kind of rattled Instagram so much so that they would like steal ideas. And I love when like Instagram comes up with a new one. You're like, this is dumb.
Oh yeah, TikTok usually starts the trend.
They start a good one, and then
Instagram steals it,
and then they steal it like a bunch of fucks. Anyways, like and subscribe on Instagram. Meta, God bless you.
Yes. I saw some people posting goodbye TikTok videos and follow me on other social media posts.
I know.
Like, first of all, listen, people know where to find you if they wanted to find you. They have your name.
Yeah, that was, I mean, that whole period between the fire, which God bless the people whose houses burned and were affected, as far as everyone else trying to just grab some notifications from that. Yeah, we all know who you are, but like between that and then TikTok leaving, it was just like a tidal wave of just like people sticking their face to try to get any sort of something, anything. I mean, you're like, people on TikTok, who do you think you're talking to? Like, they don't know how to find you on other things.
Those are the same type of people, like if a celebrity dies or someone dies, they want to like post a picture with them as if they were friends with them.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to post this picture.
It's equivalent to being like, even on a video, being like, be sure to like and subscribe. Like, people are like, oh, I didn't know you wanted me to do that.
But also, please like and subscribe right now.
It's funny. Call it out. Yeah, I don't know. That was funny though to me. People are crazy. I mean, anyways, TikTok. I don't even know. I saw something today where they said, unless it gets sold to somebody in the U.S., they're probably going to get rid of it. Which I'm like, I don't even I really don't care anymore. I mean, I do like it. I like my algorithm because my algorithm on Instagram is just animals being mauled and fucking videos from Afghanistan with non-English text, and I don't even know what's going on my Instagram one, but I do like TikToks. I love scrolling on there because they know I like making pizza and cooking videos.
He's a sausage maker now.
Yes, I make sausage. So if you want to wrap your lips around a Maddie's custom sausage, like and subscribe and email me at Matty Sausage. It's fun. I love doing that. I was talking to Justin the other day, and I was just like, I like doing that now. I can't wait to just make money so I don't have to do this, and then I can just watch
sausages.
Watch video. Yeah, make sausages and fucking watch video. I watch like an hour of how to make a pizza dough. I mean, I like that. What am I doing in this profession? I think I should be I think I like it because there's no pressure on it. That's what I used to like with Instagram and comedy, and then now there's like pressure on it, and it's not fun.
Well, when it's the money, that's when it gets
We're chasing the bag.
Bag.
We're chasing the bags. Bags of quarters.
Bags of quarters.
Yeah.
I've never had bags of quarters, just pennies. Anytime I have like this, I've had this bag in my car since I moved to LA 11 years ago of all of the change my mom gave me for meters, and I still have it, but it's just dwindled down to just pennies and dimes now. But we still use it sometimes.
Yeah, it does come in the clutch every now and then, but that bag is pretty disgusting, and you look like a homeless woman. It's just like a bag of pennies. You're like, ew, what is more disgusting than that?
My car got broken into and no one took it. What the hell?
I mean, maybe there's some valuable ones in there. I mean,
I've already looked. I think I've tried.
Shit, that's even sadder than having a bag of pennies. Change, though, it's so funny with like currency. I still love a good quarter. There's still something about finding a quarter, or that's where I'm trying to like calibrate my life, where it's like, I love that. I don't care who you are. If you're walking down the street and you see like $1 on the ground, you get excited. Name some, like there's no one that is walking down the street, doesn't see $1 bill, and their young little boy in them or a girl is just like, let's fucking go.
You found a 50.
I found a 50 once. I almost fucking shit blood.
And I was so mad I didn't walk in front of him.
Well, you weren't near me. It was
at the post office.
You were in the
I was in the car.
Right.
I could have gotten it. I could have gotten there first.
I found a $100 bill once, and I mean, you thought Jesus just came in and said, "You're good, you're fine." No, I mean I love that thrill. That's fun. It's just a little win.
Do you think rich people would still get excited through that?
I'd like to think so. I mean, it's funny. I mean, I can't imagine a rich person walking by like any amount of money and just walking by it.
Like it's dirty.
Right. I mean, not even dirty. Maybe they just don't see any value in it. But I will say I'll pick up a quarter. I mean, sometime I'll pick up a quarter, but anything less than that, I'm not gonna fucking.
Yeah, you're not poor.
I'm not picking up nickels.
Sometimes though, I do pick up pennies if it's heads up, and I put it in my pocket for good luck.
I feel like pennies just have like germs, and I mean they all do.
But that's supposed to be good luck if it's heads up penny.
I know, Mandy. I understand.
And we need the luck, man.
Yeah, that's why you have a bag of pennies. Let's start leaving the pennies on the ground.
Who knows? Who knows? What a lucky penny.
Anyways, I thought that was fun.
Okay, let's get into some weekly wieners because I'm pretty excited about these ones.
Yeah, me too.
We've talked about this a lot, and we feel very strongly about these wieners.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're very relatable wieners. I'm just trying to see how many times I can say
No,
wieners.
you're doing good.
Okay. What's your wiener?
This one was when we were out to eat, and I love a good waiter. I mean, it's fun. I'm not trying to like get waiters worked up or expect them to do this, that, and the other, but you know, the waiter comes to your table, they kind of, you read them, you're like, all right, they're going to behave like this and so on and so forth. And then I can't help but notice when my waiter went to another table, he was having more fun with them. He was a different person around the other table where it was like fun, spit by, flirty with this and that and making jokes, and they're all fun. And then he would come back to our table and he was just stern and like boring. And I want to be like, where's that guy?
Yeah.
Well, I want that fun guy. I don't want, and again, you don't have to tap dance for me, but I want a little, that's insane.
This is what I deal with when we go out to dinner. We're just having a meal, and then Matt's like, this guy's so much more friendly to the other table.
Did I do something wrong? It pisses me off. But I mean, we've talked about waiters who are too friendly, but I mean, don't do it in front of us.
Yeah.
That was a little.
That is really rude.
At that point, I was like, I want a new waiter. I don't want this guy anymore.
We want a waiter that also wants us, you know?
Yeah, I want to.
We're fun table.
Yeah, maybe we weren't giving it off. Maybe our I don't know. Maybe, sometimes now, for all I know, my brain likes to get worked up, and then my devil's advocate side just starts to like break it down where I'm like, maybe they knew each other. Maybe they had some sort of little waiter rapport. I know waiters have this weird little community. Like, I did tables. I get it. And then they like to have banter off that. But,
when they go, oh, you stacked the plates.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Yeah. It's because I didn't stack my plates.
That's probably it.
Yeah,
you didn't stack your plates.
So that was my... Is that a wiener? Am I a wiener? I don't know. I feel like I'm being a grump or grouch.
No, a wiener is something that bugs you more than it should have.
Yeah, that bugged the shit out of me.
That's a perfect wiener. And then we were thinking like...
What did I do wrong, sir? No.
You just didn't like us.
Nah, whatever.
But then we go to other restaurants where like the servers know us, and then
that's worth it.
We get our fix.
Yeah, we get our fair share. It's like taking a quiet Uber. That's the new restaurant they need to do, like Uber, where you can request, do you want a chatty one or not a chatty one? Do you want it cool? Do you want music? No, I want that. Where's that?
Yeah.
Restaurant.
You know the server I don't want? I don't want the server that sits down at the table with you when they takes your order.
That's a lot.
I'm so cool, I'm with you server.
Yeah, I don't need any of that. I want them to just... See, it's funny. What I want is not what that guy was giving to the other table, and it's bizarre that I don't want the friendly waiter, or I don't want that guy who's like being too much, but it was just bizarre where I was like, yeah, okay, I just picked up on it.
Well, that's like my plans joke I'm trying to write is like we don't want to go to the party, but we still want to be invited to the party.
That's a perfect example. That's exactly it.
So we basically want...
Let me shut your humor down. Start it. Let me tame you. Let me ignore you. Let me put my,
Give me the power.
I gotta say, restaurants lately are just fucking rubbing me the wrong way. I'm sick of going to places where just the food is just ass. Nothing's good anymore. I mean, how rarely are we going to restaurants now where you leave? Not even like, I mean, let me just leave being like, that was decent, like average. Like, I mean, we're leaving being like, that was such a waste of money.
That's why we go to the same places, because we know a few places that are good.
Oh my God. It's like sushi last week or whenever that that was.
Dog
It's
shit.
like, it was fucking rancid. Like, I don't know if you guys are sushi people, but like typically they'll put some sort of crispy onion situation, very shoestringy crispy onions on the top. This place just gave us fucking onion rings on top of fish that tasted like fish, which is not sushi. I mean,
it was crazy.
Oh,
just
God.
picture a legit onion ring on top of sushi.
And I mean, I was thinking about it. I'm like, God, I when we go to places, I want it to be because we can't cook it, or they have the resources that we don't have to do what they're doing. That's all I want. And then these places you go in and you're like, oh, they're in the door. Let's just let them order and let's put them in a position to not want to send food back, which I'm glad we did.
We sent it back, but also the sushi was bad. We got our food, and then the server dipped, and she never came back the rest of the night. I mean, she was just gone.
And people are like, oh, robots are going to take our jobs. You're like, good, take them. Take that person and make them do something fucking else.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying, again, going back to the server, I don't need you like up my ass, but like, you know, I drink water fast. The table, I felt like I was eating in like a little like square. Like I had this little area of ass. But
I want to bring back not bring it back. It was a riff I tried a few times on stage, and I want to make it more into a joke about, because like waiting tables was a moment that I wanted to not make a joke about for a long time, because it was so miserable and I didn't want to think about it or even take it in or anything of it. Right. But now that I haven't waited tables for a while, I'm ready to talk about it on stage. And the one I was trying to do was like, you think like as someone who worked in the service industry, you be more caring and take your time. Oh, they're busy, more understanding.
Right.
But as someone who has worked in the service industry, I want the joke to just be like, now I'm like ruthless. Like, I know you're in the bathroom texting. I know.
Oh, yeah.
And when it's slow, you guys are just talking and eating food in the back. Like,
right.
Like, I expect better service now.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It's like when you go to a fucking store and you're like, do this in my size, and I go, I'm going to go check and back. I'm like, you literally just went through that door and came right back. I know what you're doing. I'm cool, though. Don't treat me like some dumb sheep who doesn't know what you're doing.
Well, I never worked in retail. You worked at. He was a Hollister boy.
I worked there on Christmas break for like a month. I would work for like 3 weeks, which in hindsight, I'm like, I got one paycheck. I don't even know what I was doing. But I was there. And
now he can fold shirts very well.
I'm a pretty good shirt folder. I can do women's clothes, which are just a combination of strings and patches of cloth. I don't understand. Trying to fold any sort of women's clothes, unless it's jeans or just a t-shirt, I don't know what's going on.
You fold them very well, though.
I try, though. Yeah, I fold her underwear and her. What are you doing? I'm folding it. What are you doing besides walking up behind me? Yeah, I don't. Maybe that's just getting older. Maybe we're just kind of done. I feel like when you're younger, you're so busy doing whatever that the shitty service kind of blends in. Or maybe service is getting shit. I don't know.
Everything. But part of that wiener he said, though, is like when you're stuck, when you go to a party or like a birthday party, any gathering where it's a sit down, and you're sat at the boring side of the table.
Yeah, that happens a lot. I mean,
God.
You're like, is it me? Do I want to be down there? Like, what's going on? There's no chemistry. We're just like the people that got invited. You feel like we're the people that just got invited out of courtesy. We're not in the main company.
We're seat fillers.
I mean, Thanksgiving a couple years ago, we were just. It's like we were in a waiting room. And then the worst part about that, you're like, I can handle no one talking or having no kind of common ground to want to even just talk with each other. It's when, in the same thing as the waiter, it's when you hear the other table laughing, cheersing. You're like, is this a punishment right now? I mean, it's the saddest part of it. And then you try to like start a conversation. It's just like, digs your hole even deeper, and you're like, man, what are we doing?
Yeah,
that's worthy of just being like, guys, I'm gonna go home. I mean, I can't unless we're gonna mix it. It feels like in like elementary school when like one team was better than the other team at kickball. You're like, unless we mix up teams, I'm not doing this anymore. I wanted to be like, you two swap, so we need to blend.
It's tough though, because like you want to like put down your purse or something to grab the seat, but it's like a gamble. You're like, do you grab a seat in the beginning just to like hope it's a good section, or do you wait to see what's left? It's a crapshoot.
Or in that scenario, they do like assigned seating, which you're like, okay,
assigned seating, and then
we're not at like a fucking wedding. This is just like a Friendsgiving, and you're doing assigned seating. You're like, I know what you're doing.
If it's assigned seating and you're at the bad side of the table, yeah, just go home.
If you're doing assigned seating, it needs to say that in the invitation. So then I can be like, well, guess what? You can assign seat me at my house, and I'm going to stay here, and I'll zoom in. Or give me a table. Give us some sort of seating chart. I want to know ahead of time.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. That's frustrating.
Oh, it definitely brings out your like insecurities of when you were in like back in like school lunch.
Dude, like it's funny to think like, because then sometimes you're on the good side of the table, and now that I know there's that dynamic, it's interesting to just peer down, just peer down to the boring end, and there's always someone like, and you're like, oh, I know what you're going through right now, and that sucks. They're just kind of like, or they're either trying to like lean in, or they're just like, I'm done. I checked out. That's the worst.
Being in a conversation, being in a forced conversation is one of my least favorite things in the world.
I mean, you got to try, but at some point, it's not even worth. I mean, it sucks too when somebody invites you to something and you're immediately put at the shitty side of the table too. With like, yeah, come on, we'll be there. And there's like one chair 40 feet away, and they're like, yeah, you're good over there. And I'm like, you invited me and you're there. That's like fucking awkward. Like, you ever have somebody, I mean, this is like, it's not the same, but it is, but it's kind of like people just are such pussies with chairs where it's like, you ever like have that situation where you get up and somebody's supposed to save your seat and they don't. And then you come back and you're like, what'd you do?
Oh, yeah.
You panicked and gave my seat away?
It's the worst. Last Super Bowl party we went to, which it's almost Super Bowl again, I got up to go to the bathroom and I had the perfect
Where the hell was
seat
this?
At Michael's. The perfect seat on that couch. And I got up and then was gone. And I had no more seat. That's another thing. When you go to people's gatherings for the Super Bowl and stuff and there's not enough chairs, you got to fight for a good seat or you're just uncomfortable the whole time.
You're sitting in the corner.
I would rather just be at home with
I mean, we're just arguing why we don't leave our apartment. I think this is what we do. I mean, we go, waiters suck. Sitting with friends sucks. Food at places suck.
Everything sucks.
But that's
Events
why
at friends' house suck.
I know. It's very unfortunate.
But then you have to go and experience the suck to then enjoy it when you go back home. Otherwise, you wouldn't be like, oh, this feels so good to be home.
I will say, yeah, it's like, as fun it is at home, like, it's so easy to get cabin fever. Mm-hmm. Like, even tonight, we, about to go to that thing, and I'm like, I just want to go, so then going home feels even better. It's like that. It's like that kind of withholding yourself from it to make it better type thing, which, that's what we got to do.
But I get so much anxiety when I think about going to a social event.
See, I don't. I enjoy going to it. As long as I'm with you or like someone else, like, I don't mind going into it because it's like, all right, well, what's the worst that can happen? We just talk to each other and then leave. But I mean, certain things, like going alone, I'm trying to be better about like having the balls to do things by myself. Like, even meeting my buddy yesterday, it's like, I was gonna do it, I wouldn't not do it. But there is that like kind of like weird, like, what are we gonna talk about, this and the other? But I'm trying to like not have these like preconceived things and just go into it and be like, maybe it'll just be fun. And I can be an adult and look at somebody and talk to them and listen. We've talked about this. I'm terrible at listening. Because sometimes, like, in scenarios where when someone's talking, my brain's like, oh, I'm going to say this next. I want to have something to say next. So my brain starts thinking, and then I realize I don't even know what the fuck they're saying anymore. and then I'm like, and then my thing is irrelevant because I don't even know if it makes sense. And then I'm fucked. But anyways, so no, I don't know. I like going out, and then I like going out, like I said, just to make being home better. So
I just thought of when you were talking about not listening. Matt and I, we had this one show that we did recently that was so goddamn awful, and it was really bright light, so we couldn't see the audience at all. I'm on stage, and the whole time I'm thinking, oh my God, I think my zipper's down. My zipper must be down. Something is wrong. on my body to where everyone's looking at me and thinking, oh, this poor girl, she doesn't know.
Yeah.
And then he gets off stage, and what did you say to me?
I mean, I know what show you're talking about. I thought I started well, and I was like, oh, it's going good. Yeah, and then like towards the end, I was like, is my nose bleeding? Like they were like, it was quiet in certain moments where I was like, am I not? Yeah, it's like something going on in my face.
Yeah, he came off and he goes, it felt like I had a booger on my face the whole time.
Yeah, like
that's exactly how I felt.
See, my brain's like, well, it wasn't the whole time.
Yeah,
let's
like,
chill.
oh,
Mandy's like, right, the whole show. I'm like,
not on camera.
It was like my last 2 jokes, but yeah, I mean, the whole time, my ass. No, I know what you mean though. They were bizarre.
It was a weird audience, and audiences like to pool
but
together.
But that one was fun. You're talking about the Saturday Late Show where they were good, and then towards the end of the sets, I think it was just late. I don't fucking know.
I'm not justifying it. They were a weird audience.
They were good though. What do you mean? They were good up top, and then towards like the end of your set, and I think even the end of mine, I think they just kind of like zoned out. I don't know. I really don't give a fuck. They can suck my dick. I like this I used to like care so much, and I'm just like, I'll quit, right? I mean, I'll quit and then come back. I don't know. What do you want me to do? Like, what am I going to not?
No, it doesn't matter. I just thought it was funny that we both have the same thought.
Yeah. I like having this feeling now going on stage where it's like, because forever you're like, I hope they, oh my God, I hope they like me. And now I'm just like, I fucking hate you guys already. And know what will make me like you is if you laugh my whole set. And guess what? Even if you don't, I don't care.
Yeah.
That's the thing with comedy. I'm like, these fucking shows, you do your best, and then nothing happens, and then guess what? So you're like, oh, I can just do my worst. Nothing happens ever.
Mm-hmm. We even say that like in front of like bookers or people who matter. Like, do great, doesn't matter. Do bad, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you're new to comedy, it doesn't matter.
No. Maybe if you're new, you might want to care a little bit, but
no, if you're new, it really doesn't matter.
I know
you're gonna suck.
Yeah, you're gonna suck.
So just go through the motions.
Yeah. Go through the motions, and yeah, that's a crazy thing, just like not giving a fuck. But anyways, that's kind of a little side tangent.
Side tangent. Another wiener I wanted to say was another old joke. We're talking some concepts we're trying to work on. I was doing this one for a second and then I stopped it. Was I hate when I tell people to take their time, like when I'm on my way to pick somebody up and I go on my way. Mm-hmm. Then I'm almost there. Then I text them almost there. Then I text them here. And when I say almost there, I expect a person to be downstairs, outside, waiting for me.
Right.
And then when I text here,
Go ahead.
I always go here, but take your time. When I should never say take your time. What I really mean is like, I'm here. Where the fuck are you, you selfish piece of shit?
Yeah. I mean, you saying it's funny because you're like, when I say almost there, you expect us waiting outside it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
Who the fuck do you think? You're in a warm car, whatever the environment is. I'll walk out. When somebody says here, I will be ready. I mean, I'm very considerate of that aspect.
No, I want curbside.
Yeah, no, that's your.
We're not in a cold climate. You can stand outside in 60
What is
degrees.
this, a fucking heist? I'm running out of a bank and you're the getaway car? You're going to slow down at least?
No, I'm not going to slow down.
I'm going to have my window down and I'm going to fucking be going 10 miles an hour. You better get in.
I'll stop the car.
Yeah.
And let you in.
Don't get me wrong. When when they say here and the person's taking their time or still late, that kind of frustrates me.
Oh.
Because you're like, what have you been doing this whole time?
I get so mad if I'm outside of somebody's place and they're not ready. Oh, fumes. It's just so rude to me. Because I rush to get to you on time. And if you're not ready, give me the heads up so that I can sit at home, do my thing.
See, that's where I get them, where I'm just never on time. I just run late. So now, sometimes when people, it's funny, I don't know if this makes sense with this story, but like, say I'm meeting somebody and they tell me, hey, I'm running like 10 minutes behind. Just because they said that, I'm going to now run 12 minutes behind. I don't want to show up and be waiting for you like I'm catching you. I want, and this is very selfish and people would probably not like me for this, but it's like, when I show up, I want you there already. Like, you never see a boss walk into a conference room and all the employees are already there, like, ready for him. So when somebody says like, unless we are both getting there on time, if you say, hey, I'm running 5 minutes late, it's like, well, I'm going to be running 6 minutes late. I don't tell them that, but I'm like, well, I'm going to be a minute later than you now.
But what if they were going to be on time? Were you going to be on time?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
On time is on time.
They're punished a minute now because
Yes.
they're running late.
Yeah, but sometimes when I'm picking people up, it's like I'll slow down a little. But yeah, if they want to punish me, you just got punished back. And now they're like waiting, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm bad with. I think God, I almost want to ask my therapist this, where I'm like, it's just sometimes when I'm getting ready, because I'm a person who's notoriously late. It's not that I'm doing it to be selfish or whatever. I think I have more time than I do. Because I'm like, when I get ready, I'm so optimistic. I'm like, shower 3 minutes. Outfit 35 seconds max. And then I'm like doing it. I'm like, you planned so poorly. Mm-hmm. And now I'm fucking scrambling. So much so that when I'm driving somewhere and I'm late, like my brain is like, okay, it says I'm going to get there in 10 minutes. I'm supposed to be there in 5. Really, say I'm supposed to meet them at 10 in the morning. If I'm like, all right, if I'm running 5 minutes late, at like 10:01, they're going to start wondering where I am. So really, I'm only going to bug them for like 3.5 minutes. So I start to like think about like their psyche of like, yeah, it's only going to really inconvenience them like in a minute max. And then when they text me, I'm like, dude, I'm parking. And then you have all these like fucking weird loopholes.
Do you ever do the dumb fib of like, say you're running 13 minutes late, you go like, I'll be there in 8 minutes.
I do that, and it's because it seems like saying the real time seems just so astronomical. How come you're like, I'm going to tell them 7 even though it's 10? I mean, I could be honest and be like, sometimes I do that, and I feel like I'm just dumping a rock on their head where it's like, I'm running 12 minutes late, and I'm like, dude, probably like 13. And I just feel like they're like, oh, you fucking mud.
Yeah, why does cutting like 3 minutes
like,
off
do anything.
Make you feel like you're like
I'm
goddess?
a hero? Like, they're like, okay, I was worried you're going to say 9 minutes. 7's fine. I was so worried you're going to be,
It's so weird, those tiny little lies that aren't necessary.
I mean, realistically, you should be like, dude, 15 minutes. I don't know what's going on with this traffic. But for some reason, that just seems so fucked up. Mm-hmm. Or when you're running late and I'm beating myself up for this and the other, and I'm like, like swearing, angry, like self-sabotage, like you're a piece of shit, you can never do anything right. And then you show up and they don't even care.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I didn't need to do any of that.
Oh, I have such a good example of that, and that'll lead into our next topic. So I want to get into Matt's journey of finding a therapist because it's really funny. But what we just said. So when I was able to afford my therapist, it's been a while, help. As you know, this is now my therapy office. So one of my last sessions, I always went in the morning, and I really wanted a coffee for the session because you just feel better with that cup of coffee. You're like, I got my cup of coffee, I'm good. Even if you're not going to drink it because I'll pee the whole time. I wanted that cup. I was itching for the cup. So I go to get the coffee, and this was on my McDonald's $1 coffee kick.
Oh, yeah.
And I was running late. So I think I did text her, hey, I'm running a little late. And by the time I got there, say I was like 10 minutes late, I left the coffee in the car because I was so mad at myself that I was late because of this coffee that I was embarrassed to bring in the coffee because I thought, I'm 10 minutes late. She's going to see me walk in with this coffee cup and go, oh, you're late because of the coffee cup.
Well, fuck a therapist. I'd be like, I'm late to my therapist every single time.
I'm not a person that's late. I'm not late to things.
I'm like, I'm paying you all the money. What the fuck do you care? I'm giving you more of a break. I'll show up fucking 10 minutes late, and if anything, I want her to look at me and be like, thanks for the extra time off.
See, no, it's expensive. I needed to get every minute of it.
No way. I walk in like a fucking celebrity. I'm like, I don't fucking know. And she's like, all right. And I'm like, all right.
No, mine, I was always like 10 minutes early in the lobby, just waiting, peeing, just like thinking about what I'm going to say.
That's when we can tell you're fine.
Brought a checklist. Every therapy session, I had a checklist of what I wanted to talk about. We really covered grounds. But so we're in this therapy session, and I go to her, you know what? She ended up being late that day. So then I didn't have my coffee. She was late. So I confessed to her. I was like, I was so mad at myself for being late for the coffee that I left the coffee. And she goes, that's when you just need to trust time. She goes like, I was running late. You were running late. It was perfect. You should have brought your coffee in. Like, just don't. She was just saying, like, what I did was wrong.
See, I don't like that. She was late. So am I paying you full price?
No, I get a longer session. She still gives me my full session.
Mine don't.
Really?
When I'm late, that's...
You got massage envy rules over there?
No, I mean, I get it. They have fucking psychos after me. They're fucking churning and burning at my place.
But if you're...
The waiting room is like this, and I'm like, my turn.
Oh, okay.
But that is a good lesson that, just do whatever the fuck you want. Like, now when I'd go to meetings or whatever, like when I was still working, I'm like, suck my dick, I'm late. I mean, I don't know. Is anyone dying? Are we fine? I mean, we're all fine. It doesn't bother me anymore.
Or one thing that reminded me of is, like, stand-up shows. I used to show up back in the day like 30 minutes before the show started. Now I know shows never start on time. I'll show up and give me the set list so I know when I'm up.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting for 3 hours at this venue.
No, I don't do that.
For
I don't
one
go early
little
ever.
spot.
Yeah. No, it's funny. Showing up late with a coffee is like say I'm meeting you and I show up late with like a fresh coffee that's like when somebody owes you money and they're like buying things. You're like, what do you think you're doing right now? I'm sorry. That time is mine.
Yeah.
Give it back. Give me that fucking coffee.
See, you see where I thought that was wrong, right?
I mean, for therapy, I would have just brought it in. I would never have thought that. But I know what you mean. I mean, I get the idea. You're kind of like punishing yourself, which is why you were in therapy. The checklist blows my mind. I literally go to my therapist and just podcast rant for the whole time. And it's funny because sometimes she'll laugh and then I look up and she knows that I'm not laughing and she'll be like, because she doesn't know how to react.
That's awkward.
And I don't mean it. I don't like glare at her like in a bad way, but sometimes I think she's just, I don't know. It's funny though. I catch her off guard.
Nothing feels better than making a therapist laugh. You're like, fuck yeah.
Nothing feels more awkward though when they kind of just you stop talking and they just stare at you and I'm like,
oh. Well, you have he has a new one. So tell us.
Yeah, the old one was sweet,
your journey of finding a therapist.
Oh my god! I mean, this country. Let's figure it out. Clearly, mental health's a real thing. I understand people still chalk it up as whatever, but I was looking for one. First off, I asked my doctor, hey, I think I need to go to a therapist. What do you think? All right, well, we don't have any here. Here's a number. Good luck. All right, this is my primary fucking doctor. Isn't your job so I don't die? And then after that, I call this number, and with my insurance, they gave me just a list of people in network, which I'm like, just a list. So now I got to start Googling people, some popping up, some not. I'm leaving voicemails on everybody. No one's getting back. Finally, this one guy, Gary Larkin, got back to me. I remember this fucking dumbass. Calls me back. Yeah, I can do a session this day. All right, great. Wow, all right. Sounds good.
You're excited.
Yeah, took the session. Okay, so what's going on? We're Zooming, by the way. I'm like, your place looks like shit. Like, already, you're in an apartment, I can tell, which it wasn't even COVID. And I'm going on and on and on. And, I literally, there's a moment where he's like this. And I see his head just like doing this. And he's like this. And he like played it off. And I was just like, unfucking believable. So, and then like, that was like 5 minutes before I stopped talking. And I goes like, so that's really it. And he goes, all right, I'll see you next week. Said 0 words the whole time. He goes, just curious. I go, can I ask you a couple questions? I go, so what's the process with this? I mean, is there going to be back and forth, blah, blah, blah. He goes, so I'm going to have you go on Amazon. There's this workbook, and we're going to just kind of go through that together. And
what?
I'm just like, you're fucking insane, dude.
I did not know that.
And he goes, all right, well, can you just Venmo my copay? I didn't ever send him anything.
That's insane.
He literally fell asleep. His cat, during the session, I'm talking about things that are rattling my life, and I see a cat jump on his desk, and I'm just like, bro, what the fuck is this? I mean, so that was just blew my mind.
So that was
and then he had the
balls.
Then he had the balls to be like, hey, did you want to do another session? I'm like, no.
That's crazy.
I mean, I wish I was more rude, but and then the next girl, I think it was such a jump from, that guy. The office was like, we don't have any
Licensed.
we don't. Well, yeah, we don't have any psychologists that are like available, but we do have interns or in school. You can see them. It was like $25, which is crazy cheap, especially because my insurance at the time. I mean, they were like, it's $25, and I go, whatever, I'll do it. That's cheap considering all these other places seem like way more. And she was sweet, but like even her, like looking back, she was like asking me like insane things where I'm like talking about health anxieties, and she's like, have you tried Googling your symptoms? And I'm like, what did you just tell me to do? I go, that's like therapy 101 or just medical 101. Don't do that.
No, never Google something.
Like so there's that. I'm like saying shit, and I'd always I'd be talking down. I'm not making eye contact the whole time. I look up and like say the clock's over there. She's like this. And I'm like, bitch, be less conspicuous of where the clock is. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that where I'm like, I would feel my stomach get hot where I'm like, oh, okay. Like, are we really doing this right now? And then, I mean, I'd leave there being like, what the fuck was that? And there was a time where I said something. She's like, God, you're giving me anxiety. I'm like,
no way.
I'm like, what are you saying to me right now? So you're now reinforcing this fear in my head that it is this terrible thought where I'm rattling a professional. I felt like a fucking villain in a movie where I'm like, the superhero's like, fuck. It was insane. We're like, and then, it just got to the point where like I'd go there and just fucking vomit on her. And in the meantime, I went on like Audible and got like that CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy book. And I was listening to that and I was like, all right, now I have this real book that's fucking doing something, and I can go. And I loved going there and being like, so I'm using this audiobook. I know what that book told me. It was, she's like, oh, really? And I'm like, she's like talking about like an ex or
the student the student becomes the
I'm
teacher.
like, have you got to that yet? That class yet in your course? What grade are you in? So that made me feel better. And then her internship was up, and I even regret like ever being like, yeah, you did a good job. I was like, oh, thank you. You really helped, even though she fucking did it. And now my therapist she's actually a psychologist, and she's like fucking killing it.
I mean, an intern is a crazy thing to like go to and actually take in what they say. Because when I went to my therapist, I'm like, okay, what she says goes. Like, right. And it was simple just to like listen and do.
Right.
But if it was an intern, I was like, I don't know if I like.
I asked that question when I was there. I was like, is this like work? I go, what's the track record? They go, everyone seems to like it. So I'm like,
no one's jumped off the building yet.
Which would she really tell me the honest thing? She's like, to be honest, this shit's fucking garbage. But I was like, whatever. It's somebody to talk to. And then the irony is that although my therapist now is at that same office, she's not affiliated with the office. She's just renting like a room out in it. But she takes my insurance and my copay's $15. So I'm like, all right, now I have a better person and it's cheaper.
I didn't know that. That's crazy. You pay $15?
Oh, I'm fucking.
Oh my God. My therapist was $200 out of pocket. I went once a month. One time
I was telling a story and it was so crazy. I looked up and she was holding a cross.
No.
She like this. And I was like.
Did your
my therapist now is great though. Like I ratted out my old therapist. I ratted out all the doctors that were just had terrible bedside manner is like the root of my anxiety. Just like doctors being like saying the most insane shit to me. I mean, you know it, but like we went to the urgent care. I was having heart palpitations. We know it's nothing. It's my anxiety. I told him anxiety. All my vitals checked out, and this lady, I love because they have to just like fucking cover all bases. God forbid something happens where she's like, all right, anxiety, your EKG is good. All right. So if you feel like a really heavy thing on your chest and your arm hurts and this, yeah, just go to the ER. It's a heart attack. You can die from those. And I was just like, bitch, what are you saying to me? Like, you think I'm fucking dumb?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every fucking doctor I've had where you're just like, oh God, you stupid. And it's funny because then you go to your real doctor and you tell them what these fucking idiots say. And they're just like, what are they doing? Like I told the cardiologist that I got referred to by that dumb lady. Great guy, and I'm actually happy that I went there because it was a good peace of mind. But, then I love being like, what's up with these fucking urgent care doctors? Like, dude, I don't know. They're crazy. So anyways, I've all the doctors that were shitty, I ratted out to my new therapist, rat out the old therapist. I'm fucking throwing everyone under the bus there.
What if she gives you advice of like, pretty big narc?
Yeah, she's like, you need to chill. No, but she's great. She taught me everything I need to know. If you guys need any, basically, I just want to say this because I think people are going to be like, what the fuck did she say? With anxiety, I think your first instinct is to push it away. You feel uncomfortable. I want this to stop. The trick with anxiety in a nutshell is if you're feeling shitty, rather than being like, I want this to go away, you go the other way. You say, I'm going to sit in this feeling. I'm okay with this being here. And it almost loses like its allure and all the issues with it, no matter what it is. Whether you have a shitty thought, sit with it and don't push it away. Because when you push, and I when I'm with my therapist, she'll tell me this stuff, and my comic brain comes up with all these analogies. I'm like, that's like, anxiety is like someone chasing you. It's scary because you're running, but if you stopped, then they're like, can you keep running? And then then it disappears and the illusion's gone. Mm-hmm. And that generally, like, whenever you're anxious, you're like, oh, it's because I'm trying to make this stop, and then you go into it and it doesn't bug you.
Or like you're avoiding something or some
and you avoid avoidance or pushing away or trying to make it be done with or whatever. Like if you literally just be like, I'm gonna sit here and I don't care, feel like this all day, and then your brain is just like, oh, all right, we're over it. Like it doesn't happen immediately, but it is like insane. Where then it doesn't kind of go crazy, and then you label your thoughts. If you're like having those feelings and then you start to think what ifs, you're like, that's anxiety, and then your brain feels like calm because it's like you basically just labeled it nothing, and then it pushes it off to the side.
Yeah.
So that's what she said, in case I don't want to leave it there and people are like, what happened?
Save you guys either $15 or $200, depending on your insurance.
That should be a therapy. It's called Therapist. And I basically just vomit things she's told me to other people.
Oh my God, that'd be a good Instagram page.
Gee, that'd be terrible. I'd be giving awful advice.
Well, no, it's everyone giving like actual good advice from their therapist.
That's not bad. I mean, I literally, to this day, I'll go, not anymore with her because I feel so much better, but like, I will every now and then, I would go to like YouTube and watch somebody like overcoming anxiety. But like, then I told her I was like, I liked listening to those or seeing whatever. But then I'm like, your life just becomes like hearing issues, and you're like, anxiety's just in your face too much. At some point, you take what you learn, you apply it. If you feel good, you don't need to like look up all these books or YouTube videos or whatever, because then the algorithm just is feeding you like anxious people.
It's too much.
Like even now, like it's just like a wave of like just shit. You're like, all right, I mean, because it almost reminds you of things that are bugging you, and you're like, Jesus Christ.
Well, that's the joke you're working on now about other anxious people.
Yeah, I mean, it's anxiety is the best because it's like your anxiety is like tailored to you like a suit, and then you're like, but in a bad way, where you're like, this anxiety just knows what pushes all my buttons and scares me. And then you hear somebody else's anxiety and you're like, you're a fucking bitch. Like, no. But like for my thing, it's like, there is a cure, even though there's no cures, but like one of the best ways to feel comfortable with your anxiety is meeting other people with anxiety, because you can resonate. But in a weird way, hearing them, it's more of like, ew, I don't want to be associated with you because you're like, I can't drive on the highway. And you're like, if that's anxiety, I don't have that. I'm not doing that at all. And you're like, it helps a lot to kind of just be like, yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah. I think that's a lot of the people I push away in my life are people that do things that I don't like that I do.
Yeah. But no, it's funny because like as much as you think you are not affiliated with the anxious people that you meet, you're like, I'm not that. That's like when you start dating someone new and then you find out all their exes were ugly. You're like, well, at least she upgraded to me. And then you're like, or I'm just one of the uglies. Or I'm another ugly. You know what I'm saying?
You talking about me?
No, but it's just funny. Like you look at all their exes, you're like, these are fucking ugly guys. And then you think you're just different. I'm not anxiety though. No, bitch, that's anxiety.
I always think I feel like with guys, I've noticed, I like when people match their who they date, like attractiveness equals. I think like when some dudes that are not attractive start building their resume of hot chicks, then hot chicks see who they dated and they're like, oh, they date hot chicks. And then they keep getting hot chicks because they saw in the past they dated hot chicks.
You think it has to do with who they saw?
Yes.
I think it's the guy. or girl, but like in this instance, I think the guy just fucking knows what to say now. I think before he was scared to say, and then I think at some point they go into it with this. We know exactly who we're talking about right now.
No. I think we.
I know exactly who we're talking about.
I think we're talking about two different people. There's two.
But I mean, I think it's not. There's no way women are like, well, if she can do it, I can't. That's not real. That's insane of people. I think it's that once they date one, that fear of approaching or talking to hot women goes away because they know what to say and they realize it's all people are the same, and then they just start only going at the attractive ones. They probably have more self-worth now, and rather than being like, well, I look this way, I can only go to them, and them. Instead, they're like, fuck it, I'm gonna go to them, and them. And then you realize that's why hot people and ugly people date, because I think it's just they have the balls to go to that person, which is a nice way to look at it.
Sure.
I don't think it's the X thing.
I think the X thing helps. As a girl, and if I saw some,
if I looked at your ex and he was like Elephant Man, I'd be like, ew.
Exactly my point. But if they were attractive,
I don't think I would ever in a million years date or not date someone based on what their exes look like.
I wouldn't either, but I think it's definitely a thing.
I would judge.
I think it's a thing.
I would not date someone, but I will put this in thought today. I found out that an actress that I really like used to date Stavros for a long time. And I was like,
interesting.
Whoa, really?
An actress you like?
Yeah.
Really? What's her name?
Yeah, you can't say that.
Come on, pull her up.
You just saw her in Saturday Night.
Oh, she did?
She dated
Right.
Stop.
Wow.
She dated that guy.
See? Reaction. Yeah.
So then, if a hot girl is dating an ugly guy, then do you think like, oh, anyone could have a shot with her? As when I'm looking at it the opposite way, if there's like an ugly dude with hot chicks and the hot chicks are like, oh, then he's fine to date.
Say that again. I wasn't listening.
No.
I think at the end of the day, the ugly dudes are good at talking, or there's something of value that is undeniable for them.
Or they have some like mojo, a little swagger.
Right, I just said,
it can't be denied that Stavros obviously has
he clearly,
some type of mojo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I agree.
Looks are so 2000. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
So this is the funniest shit I've ever heard from Matt's life. And I want you to tell it, but have you talked to your therapist about this yet?
No, I actually keep forgetting it. If anything, I just talked to my doctor about it. Because you know, when your doctor sits you down and they want your family history of like this, that, and the other, I was like, my grandpa had diabetes. I know my grandmother had cancer. My dad had cancer. So like you give them the rundown. And then I found out from a text message screenshot from my cousin on my dad's side to show me that my dad faked cancer to get money from my grandma. So like, okay, take the psycho side, put it here. I have to go back to my doctor and be like, hey, can we cross the dad cancer out real quick? Apparently that was just a ploy to get money from my grandmother. And then now he's going to write underneath it, psychopath. That's insane.
That's insane.
I mean, I can't on a million levels process that, because I'm like, okay, one, that's fucking crazy. Where my sister had a great point where my uncle, who's his brother, was like, yeah, your dad did this. Tell Sarah and Matt, I'm sorry. He's a piece of shit. He faked cancer, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, oh, so now you side with us after he abandoned me and my sister when we're like 3 and never saw him. Now, because he faked cancer was the final straw. Not leaving your children, granted we have my mom and my stepdad, but it's like, oh, it wasn't, you were still team.
Yeah, that was okay.
You were team him for a while. It was faking cancer where you're like, this son of a bitch. What a funny point my sister made. But, and then, he faked it, and which is just like, my grandmother on that side too is the sweetest lady, and it's psycho. But again, so that's insane to wrap your head around. And then you're like, what's an eerie thing? You're like, ew, like that quality is hopefully not in me. Like you get qualities from your parents. You're like, I fucking pray, like, what is that going to manifest itself one day? Because, like, we always talk where I'm like, I know what my mom gave me. Like, I see her and I see me and I'm like, okay, I got her fucking whatever the fuck that is and this and anger and all that. But, like, I don't know what my dad gave me. And it's like, then you hear these weird stories. You're like, Jesus Christ. Like, is there just a villain in me one day? And I'm like, I have a lump on my back, Mandy. I think I need $100. Can I see it? I go, when you give me $100.
It's so scary.
Ew.
That's an insane thing that he did.
I mean, what, like, any psychotic thing, what blows my mind, whether you're dressing up like Spider-Man on Hollywood Boulevard or telling your mother you have cancer, what moment where you woke up that day, you go, I'm going to do that today. That's the moment that blows my mind with them. Whether you're saying, I'm going to tell her I have fucking ass cancer, or I'm putting on the Spider-Man today and we're going to go take pictures with tourists. Like, is that a crazy thing?
And the follow through. They followed through.
They did it, and fucking, that's so weird to me. I mean, at some point you're like, God, if I ever talk to him again or not, I'm like, what were you doing? Like, I want to be like, no, what the fuck were you doing? You psychopath.
I think you definitely need to make that
He
into it.
silly putty. He made a tumor.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
just kidding.
That's where you get your artistic flair
I
from.
know. I'm like fucking touching up a melanoma mole that I painted on my skin.
But yeah, you haven't.
Oh, this? Just trying to get attention for it. Anyways.
You haven't made this into a joke yet. Have you tried it all?
I said it at a mic a few times, and it gets a laugh, but I guess I never knew where to go with it. So it's like, it's there, it's ready for me to do. I haven't made it a joke yet. I don't know.
I think it'll be a good one.
What my sister said is a funny add-on to it before, without even, it's like, oh, so, leaving your family, he's like, I can deal with that, but you don't fucking fake cancer. These poor kids need you, like, that's funny.
It's insane.
No, it's fucked. I know what his punishment should be. He should have to go get chemo.
Ooh. He shaves his head and his eyebrows.
Yeah, we should actually be like, no, you have it. You have it. Do the chemo.
Or he actually does get it and then nobody believes him scenario.
Yeah, that's what's fucked up. What if he got the boy who cried
wolf
tumor? It's crazy.
Did he actually say it was a tumor?
I don't know. It came from that one text where he faked this. And so I'm like, I'm not going to fucking. This is the same guy. He has a fucking Instagram. Doesn't even follow me. I blocked him, actually. I was like, dude, we're not. Fuck you, bitch.
Same name.
Although his daughter, which I will say this. I've reserved a right to think one way about him, but I actually have a half brother with him and a half sister. I don't know where either. I know his daughter lives with them, but like she just started following me on Instagram.
Really?
So I'm like, I want
to see what she looks like.
I'll never have ill will towards a person like that. It's not any of her business.
It's not their fault.
No, I know. So I'm like, but I just found that very interesting because one of my clips, I think, on my Instagram is actually talking about this. So she's like, hey, what is this all about?
I find it so weird how so many dads just dip on the first family and then become good dads for the second family.
He's like his third. So, I mean, it took him a few tries.
Third time's a charm.
Yeah, it's like podcasts. He's on his third. He's like, this one's sticking. It's working.
Oh my God.
I like the fan base here. It's got a good community.
Yeah.
We'll stick here. Good set, good mortgage.
Yeah.
So
got some views.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to don't look at the screen. I wanted to there's a few things I wanted to do. What to do. I'm going to end with I'm going to end with a miserable scenario, and I want to hear what you would do.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to act it out or explain what to do.
Let's act it out. I like it.
You want to act it out?
Yeah.
Okay. So, how do I act it out? How do I act this one out?
Oh.
Okay, I'll start it, okay?
Okay.
You're at a strip club.
Right.
And your significant other's best friend is performing.
Okay.
I am the performer.
Okay.
And you are yourself. Woo! Is this good stripper?
Yeah.
Matty Chymbor! What are you doing here?
Oh, it's my friend's bachelor party. I just wanted to, they dragged me in here.
No, you're alone.
No, they're over there. I swear they, I think they're in one of the rooms with one of your friends. How long have you, does she know you work here? This is insane. I wouldn't think I'd see you here.
She knows.
Really?
Yeah.
She's never told me that. Wow.
Look at me.
No, I know. I'm sorry. It's uncomfortable. I didn't think I was going to see. I mean, I don't want you to tell her. I mean, because I don't even want to be here. I told her I was coming.
We'll find out when I call her after my shift.
I mean, why would you do that? That would make
my
me
best friend.
Okay, well.
You think I shouldn't tell her?
I mean, I told her I was at the bachelor party.
There's no one here. It's just you.
Well, there was other people here. They're in the back rooms.
Okay. All right.
Do you want to get a tip or not?
Okay. I won't tell her you were here.
You trying to ruin what we have?
Thanks for buying these tits.
Yeah, well, I think you still need to buy them.
A bigger size?
Yeah.
You don't like the double Ds?
I don't know. That's like how, like with improv, you just add a detail I would have known. Oh, the triple Fs. I'm like, all right, well, okay.
You came out of it. The double Ds are too much.
Well, need to be reshaped.
I know. I feel like the one is a B and the other is a
How much do
double
I have
D.
to pay you right now to not tell her? There's an ATM right there.
$1,000.
Really? $1,000.
I make $5,000 a night.
So what the hell do you need 1,000 from me for?
I want to make $6,000 tonight.
Wow. You're gonna ruin our lives. I need you to sign an NDA.
For $1,000, I will sign the NDA.
All right.
So if I sign an NDA, what happens if I tell? You just get the $1,000 back?
I have to look at the fine print. I don't know what's really the ramifications of breaking a contract.
All right, then I'll sign it.
Wow.
So you think I'll still be the maid of honor?
No, you won't. Not at all.
No?
No.
Okay.
This is terrible what you're doing.
You're here at my work.
There's nothing wrong with any of this. Honestly, you know what? Fucking tell her. I want you to tell her. Fuck your $1,000. I want you. And then I'm going to tell her you're a fucking piece of shit who wants to take money from me.
I have to feed my children.
Because you're blackmailing me. No, tell her. Let's get off your pole. I want you to go outside and tell her right now.
I can't. Well,
I'll
Charles
take the
is
L
here.
because I didn't know. I just been sitting here with my friends where I don't know where they are.
I don't believe you're ever here with anybody else.
Well, guess what? Call her and tell her.
No one comes on Monday morning.
You tell her that. I want you to tell her, and then I'll deal with it after. But you be damned if I give your slut ass $1,000.
So,
I know we're at Crazy Girls, but you just met a crazy guy.
So if you were at a strip club and your significant other's best friend was the performer, you would pay her to not
No, not at all. But if it was going to be a ransom situation of an exorbitant amount of money, that's kind of like politely being like, are you kidding me right now?
I know you're not supposed to know and in improv, but it's so funny to think that you kept lying that you were with the bachelor party.
Yeah, you're like, no one's here. There's no roof. Okay. What are we in, a tent?
Oh, God. Okay.
Is that really the situation, though?
Yeah.
It's funny you said that because I actually had a joke where when I lived in Connecticut, we went to a strip club. Actually, I wasn't even there, but I kind of lied. My friends went to a strip club, and the girl we went to high school with was dancing. And
really?
I thought it's funny to think she's catching up with. I used to do an act out on stage of her catching up with me while she's dancing. Like, so what's your mom doing these days? And
it's exactly that situation.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's funny.
Have you had anyone from your high school, Mike, become either like find out of like a sex video or?
Down and haven't been back. I don't know.
You're
if
just
they
a
were on
meh.
the pole or not. No.
All right. Well, we went over for the Misery Loves Company, so we're gonna do that on the Patreon. Thank you guys so much for watching. Matt, what would you like to plug?
Oh boy, when is this coming out?
Next week.
We're going to be in Minneapolis from February 6th to the 8th, and then on the 27th we'll be in Boston. February 28th through the March 1st we'll be in Chicago. After that, we will be in Seattle the 14th and 15th of March, and then the 21st and 22nd of March we'll be in D.C.
Woo!
And then if you're still listening and planning this far out, April 24th, Ontario Improv, and then April 30th, San Jose Improv. And then if we're even going further than that,
Whoa!
June 21st, I'll be in Denver.
Wonderful.
Come to one of those.
I'll be at them.
She'll be at all of them.
He'll be at all of them.
Unless her stripper friend opens her mouth.
Oh, thank you so much for doing it.
You're welcome.
And thank you guys for watching.
Let's go home.
Nope, not yet. See you at the Patreon. Bye.